This content is brought to you by Scouts, the strongest Salesforce hub in the Nordics and Poland, bringing tech solutions to Danish banks.
Today, talking about what you can actually see on the screen, breaking the silos, unifying marketing, sales, and customer support for seamless journeys. Emilia is joining us during S-Force Day. Please give her a warm welcome.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so session before the lunch and after the lunch are not the perfect ones, but let's try. My name is Emily, and I'm really happy to be here with you today. I've been working in marketing departments for over 10 years, as it was already introduced. And I was working with digital, with business, with strategies. But I wanted something more, and I started to look for some tools, some solution that would give me the bigger perspective of the customer. And this is how I found out that Salesforce exists, and I switched to Salesforce. So today I will be showing you the both perspectives, the customer or the business perspective, as well as the tool, Salesforce Marketing Cloud tool. So today, let's break the silos. I will be talking about cross-team collaboration, why it matters, what are the challenges. Then I will show you what customer journey is, and will explain what it is, why we should build those. And I will show you a quick example of customer journey. Then I would like to show you the key elements of customer journey mapping. So we will be mapping the customer journey. And in there, we will see that this collaboration matters. And at the end, I would like to show you how you can build journeys in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. And after that, if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. And I also have some gifts from the company that I work in, but they are in the separate room, so I will bring them back and give them back to you after the session. Okay, so let's start. Have you ever experienced a miscommunication between teams or in the teams when you were working with? Or maybe you had some task that you were working on, and after some time you realized that there is another person working on the same task, maybe at the same time. It's kind of frustrating, and you may feel that you're wasting your time. But frustration is not only the thing that is coming into here, because there are also other hidden costs of not cross-team collaboration and of the silos. So thinking about company and the teams, if they don't collaborate, if they don't have the same goals or they don't align on the goals, if they don't have the bigger picture of the customer, what he wants, what he needs, what his questions are, then we might get frustrated, and we might, even if we work hard, we might not achieve our goals. And then on the other side, there is the customer who is also frustrated because his journey is fragmented. He has to maybe repeat to our team a few times what he's struggling with, what issue he has, because he's just putting from one person to another. Or maybe he receives different communications, like he might be even thinking that a few companies are contacting with this person because they are not aligned, they are inconsistent. So this is kind of a scenario lose-lose, because the team lose, the customer lose, and then again the company lose because the numbers doesn't match. So how we can do what we can do, and how can we bring all the people on the same page? The alignment is the key in here, and the collaboration, because when we align and when we collaborate, the customer wins because his journey is not fragmented, and we understand what the goal of the customer is. And then we have with the connected insights, we can even predict what might happen, not only react to the situation that already is. And the third thing is that when the data are shared between the teams, we can make smarter decisions, quicker decisions, and react better. But how can we go in there? What tools do we have to align better? We might have at least a few that I would like to share. It's cross-team, cross-functional teams. So when the teams are collaborating, when they share their knowledge, and when they have aligned around the similar goals and understand each other's goals, then we might bring the customer experience better. And of course, open communication, which is a tricky one because, of course, we all know that open communication, giving feedback, sharing knowledge, this is something that should be there and should work, but it's usually not working. But we should encourage people, explain what they can gain thanks to sharing knowledge. And of course, unified platforms like Salesforce, we can have data that are unified, that we understand, and we can act on those data. And we can, of course, run the workshops, the collaboration workshop. And this is also the tricky part because the collaboration workshops will run well if we gather people from different departments, but we need to gather them at the same time in the same room. And this is challenging sometimes if the company culture is not open to those. But when we explain what the goal is, when we show the bigger picture and we explain what they can gain from those, how they can benefit, the summary of the actions will be better and the customer will be satisfied. So speaking about workshops, that was the introduction. I would like to show you and explain what customer journey is, and then we will map the customer journey. So what customer journey is? The customer journey is a visual representation of every interaction that customer has with the brand. So for example, imagine a person, a customer, he wants to buy a new pair of shoes. So he's starting to look for some trends. Maybe he view the website, check what's available, see the prices, and then he buys the product and start to wear the shoes. But why we should map those? Why we should understand it? Because every step matters. Because at each stage, the customer has different goal, different obstacles, different questions. And when we know it, we can answer to those. But because I represent marketing department, let's say, people working in marketing departments might think customer journey, let's say it's marketing funnel, but it's not the same. Because marketing funnel, it's still broad, because we have lead generation, lead nurturing, we gather leads into one funnel, then we work with the leads, then the customer, if he's ready for buying, then he's buying the product, and then we can go further and we can build loyalty. But speaking about customer journey, we are giving the bigger perspective, the bigger picture, because it's beyond marketing. Because if we imagine this scenario, this customer who has his new shoes and they break. So what happens? He doesn't really care which department to contact with. He doesn't care if marketing was sending him promotions, the sales team sell the product, and then maybe the customer care team should now run into place. He just expects one experience, one brand. And this is why this customer journey is beyond marketing, and we should think about those as a big picture. Because, for example, when this customer is frustrated and he's waiting for this case to be to work on it, and in the same time, marketing team is sending him the message, how happy you are with your new shoes, maybe you buy a new one, then he might get angry. So what the customer journey phases might have. So the first one I wanted to talk about is lead generation. So lead generation is the process of gathering leads into marketing funnel. So we are thinking about new prospects that come into the funnel and that we will work with them. And already at this stage, marketing generate leads, which are called prospects at this stage. And what gains the sales team is the insight about the customer or potential customer, because we gather the data and we share the data with sales team, for example. And of course, we have plenty of tools like landing pages, forms you can build with Salesforce Marketing Cloud. And those will be better for the customer to experience one way of communication. And then we have lead nurturing. So at this stage, we are trying our customers to go through the funnel and then to engage with them. And for example, the tool that we might use is lead scoring. So we assign some scores, some points to the customer for taking action. So for example, he opens the email, he receives some points. He subscribed for the newsletter, he receives points. He subscribed for the webinar, but he doesn't show up, so we reduce the points. And this is important because we are gathering the information about customer, what he's interested in and what he would like to do maybe. And this data can be displayed in the CRM for sales team, and they can already see and understand the engagement of the customer before they contact with the customer. And for example, if the leads are passed to the sales team and the sales team can give the feedback, for example, that maybe something is not working. So we might have some iterations because maybe the lead scoring is not working perfectly. Maybe we should nurture the leads more. And the next stage, the sales engagement, this is when the leads are passed to the sales team and the sales department is working with the lead. And in here we have those data that can be displayed on CRM. Then we have lead grading, which is something different because lead scoring is showing how the customer might be interested in our product. But lead grading might tell that maybe we should be or should be not interested in this customer because maybe he's from different country or his title is not aligned with our goal, with the customers we want to sell to. We can create sales alerts and we can align again because when we see that the leads are stuck on some phase, like negotiation, for example, we might look for the solution, what is missing in here. And then again, the marketing team, the sales team, and service team can provide some feedback and say that maybe there is something missing, like, for example, the value proposition. So the customer doesn't really know what he gains from the product or from the service. And then the purchase phase. So at this point, the customer is buying the product. We are updating all the data in the CRM. And this is also useful, again, for marketing team because they can act on the data. And for example, if somebody leaves the website, he puts some items to the cart, but then he leaves the website. We can build some automation, like a button cart. But during this time, maybe he goes to the shop, the offline shop, and he buys the new pair of shoes. So he doesn't want to receive additional communication, hey, please buy this product. And then at the end, maybe even receiving the voucher, the discount for the product, because he already bought those shoes and he doesn't want to buy a new pair. And this is, again, this collaboration between teams. And then the last phase, the after purchase, where we are working on the retention, when we build the loyalty with customers. And we have, again, plenty of tools. For example, we can send surveys, we can build loyalty programs and work with customers who have some status, for example. And then, of course, campaigns like cross-sell, upsell, and other. And then, again, the collaboration happens in here because we don't want to send the promotion campaign at this stage to customers with, for example, the case open. Okay, so we went through some pieces, and now we can build those pieces together. So I will show you how the map can look and how you can build a customer journey map. And before you start building the map, this is just the template that I built in Canva, but you can build your own or you can use the templates that are available. But before you start working with customer journey map, you should think about the persona. So the persona is a representation of the customer that you want to talk to and you want to interact with. So once you have this mapped, in terms of the customer journey map, on the top, you have stages. So the stages that I described a little bit to you already. So we have the awareness phase, we are building the awareness, then we have the purchase phase, and then post-service. And each phase has its own steps. And at each step, we need to map what customer does at each stage and what pain points he has, etc. So, customer perspective. This is all about the customer, what he does, what activities he has, what he's struggling with. Maybe he has some issue. What is the goal at this stage? Because at every stage, the customer might have different goal, not only buying the product, but at the first stage, he might be thinking, okay, let's find a new shoes, but let's find a nice one. And he wants to know what the trends are at the moment, for example. And we can up also the emotions. So if he's happy, if he's frustrated, and why, to understand, to react better, and to answer his needs. And sometimes with the templates of the customer journey map, you end with this. But what I recommend, and I think it's very powerful, is to add the company perspective. So related activities to the steps, to the stages where the customer is. So we are mapping what activities at the moment we have, what we are doing at each stage, at each step, to see if we align with the customer and we have tools to react. And then we can map the resources, tools, channels. We can even think about threats, the obstacles that we have at the moment. So then later maybe we can build something to react on those. And then at the end, we can also add the opportunities pool. And the opportunities is kind of already transition from as-is perspective into to-be. Because before we mapped what happens now, and we know and understand this process. But if we add the opportunities pool, we can already think what we can do better, how we can improve to react better to customer needs and to answer his questions. So in here is just the very simple some steps that I added. Of course, they don't cover everything, and I will read it too because I'm not sure if everyone sees. But for example, if we have this customer who wants to buy the shoes, at the stage of awareness, the step 1, the customer is looking for a new pair of shoes, online stores, Instagram, let's say. Then his pain points, maybe he has too many options, like too many stores, maybe too many shoes, or he doesn't know the trends, or the delivery is too long. The goal at this stage might be finding a nice pair of shoes or choosing the best store to buy. And then on the company perspective, we have activities like CEO, blog articles, which are provided by marketing team. About the resources or channel tools, we have website, we have social media, we have some Google ads or SEO. Again. And this is also provided by marketing team. And then opportunities. For example, we can collaborate with influencers on Instagram because we found out that the customer is looking for some new trends on Instagram. So maybe that could be a nice channel for us to interact with. And then when he's buying the product, so he adds the shoes to the cart, then his pain point is that he can find the delivery information. His goal at this stage is to buy easily and make sure on the delivery. And then what company does, what resources we have. We have, for example, e-commerce with products recommendations. This is provided by e-commerce team. But with opportunities, maybe we can add online chat to answer the questions of the customer, like real time, or we can add or change the information about the delivery to make it more visible for the customer so he's not frustrated and he's not leaving the website. And then post-service, the customer is looking for the support, for the contact, and create a case because the shoes are broken at the moment. So he's frustrated about the broken shoes, and he can't find the information how to send the product back, for example. So his goal at this point will be the quick contact and easy way to send back the shoes. So the company can react on this. So we have, for example, Q&A section on the website at the moment. This is provided by marketing team, but service team is working on the support case. So there is customer care support via phone, for example. But we can already see at this stage that there are some things missing. Like we can adjust the process, looking for the tools that might automate some tasks. And this is, again, the collaboration, marketing, IT, support team. So at each stage, we understand the customer better, we understand his needs, we can provide those or start building some solutions to provide them, as well as we can see that there are different departments, different people needed at each stage, and we need to collaborate so then the customer can win and we can also win. So moving from the perspective as is into 2B, to make it happen, and when we map the opportunities, we can now work on some tasks, we can create some action items and assign people, a person or a team who should be responsible for those. And again, in here, we can see all the different departments that has to collaborate to provide the information on or the solution that is needed for the customer. And regarding the template and the mapping, I would suggest you to adapt your customer journey map into your needs. So you can use friendly tools. You don't need to be an expert with the tools, with every tool that provides the customer journey map. You can build your own, or you can use the tools that are easy to use by all of the team members. You can adjust the template. So for example, you can add some polls, you can remove some polls, or you can add some insights from the previous workshops, because maybe you have some insight about the customer, or you have the information about the company values and the company goals. So don't be afraid to add them to the template, because at some point you may want to pause the workshops to see if you are still in line with the goals of the company or the values of the company. Because if the team are very responsible and they react on workshops well, they might start to think about different solutions and try to provide everything for the customer. But at some point, maybe this is not needed yet. Okay, so I gave you the business background, and now I would like to talk a little bit more about Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So when you think about Salesforce Marketing Cloud, you might think this is a tool that can give you the solution, the option to automate some tasks, automate the interactions with customer. You can engage and find the moments where you engage with customers, and you can nurture the relationship. And simple, very, very simple use cases of journeys could be those, like at the stage of the awareness, you have, for example, welcome journeys. So if somebody subscribed for a newsletter, then you can start send some communication. You can welcome him warmly. You can write about the product, about the value of the company, what company does, etc. Then at the purchase stage, you have this abandoned cart reminders. So you can send the reminders to the customers who left the cart. But again, this collaboration happens or should happen in here. So don't send the reminders to people who already bought, for example. And then post-service, you can have like calendar occasions, for example, birthdays of customers. So you want to build loyalty, or you have some Black Fridays, Cyber Mondays, etc. And then you add to the journey people who meet some criteria that you establish. And speaking about Marketing Cloud, there is Marketing Cloud Engagement, which is an external Salesforce cloud. And when you log in there and you want to create the journey, and you find the journey builder, which is very easy drag and drop solution where you can create journeys. So you take some items from the left and you drop it on the canvas. And what features do we have in there? You have some settings, so we can decide if the customer should re-entry the journey, should re-entry anytime, only after exiting, or no re-entry at all. You have some entry sources, for example, data extension, which is kind of a table, a database of customers, which stores the customer data, but you can have different sources like APIs, for example. And then you have different attributes that you can use. So you can use the random split, for example, to to build different paths. So people might go with different directions, let's say. So it's not only like A/B testing, it's something more, because you can check what performs better, if sending one email or 3 emails, if sending an email or an SMS would be better, or checking the timing, how much time we should wait from one communication to another, etc. Of course, you can add some Einstein features like send time optimization, which delivers the message at the right time. So Einstein should know that, for example, I don't like wake up in the mornings and I start my job at 9, so he might send me the message at 9. But for example, somebody else might receive the message at 6 a.m. because he's interacting with his email at this time. And then we have some wait attributes. We can wait some time. We can check if something happened. So for example, we can see if the email was open. If the email was open and we assume that the customer is informed about something, he can exit the journey. If he didn't, then we can plan additional paths and additional notifications or additional information sent to customers. And of course, you can test, you can validate and see if there is everything on the place where you wanted it to be. But speaking about Salesforce Marketing Cloud, at the moment, there are 3 marketing clouds in Salesforce ecosystem. So the one that I showed you before is Marketing Cloud Engagement. But there is new Marketing Cloud, which is built on core by Salesforce, on Salesforce. And that was already mentioned on the first presentation. So this Marketing Cloud is built on Data Cloud. And when we are building journeys, thinking journeys, we are using flows. So now we are working from the top to the bottom. So for CRM users, you should be familiar with those because the flows are like the same. It's just when you have Marketing Cloud enabled and Data Cloud, you have different types of flow that you can use. And for Marketing Cloud users, it should be also quite easy to change into because there are similar attributes that you can use and similar icons even. And to show you the example, how you can build very easily and quickly the flow in new Marketing Cloud, I recorded a video. Yeah, it's working. So you go into the flows, you create a new flow, and then you can choose from the different types of the flow. So for example, I choose the segment triggered flow, and then I'm scheduling the journey to run at a specific time or to start to run at a specific time. And then I need to add the segment, which I already built previously in Data Cloud. And then I want to send a loyalty message. So I'm using the email activity. And then I choose from the emails that I already built before. And then I can add some additional features like Einstein send time optimization, which in new Marketing Cloud is built already in the email attribute. And then I can choose from different attributes and add additional thing. So for example, I'm waiting to see if somebody clicked in the link in the email. So I'm checking this. And then I decide which email I'm checking and which link was clicked. And then I say, okay, let's wait 3 days, for example. And for those who did not click, then I can experiment more. I can send reminders, but now I want to check what will be better for customer. If it's better, what channel, for example, to use. And there is an option to experiment and to check what performs better. So for example, 20% of the customer will receive the test. And after that, we will see which channel performed better. And the rest of the customer will receive the solution that was performing better. So for example, SMS or email. And within the path experiment, you can add up to 10 paths at the moment. So you can iterate and check 10 paths. And this is how the flow works. And of course, you can build more complex journeys. And yeah, that's the summary. So I would like to to share the main insights from this presentation, that the collaboration matters, really matters. And when there are silos, there is friction. When there is low hands-off, there are missed opportunities. When there are disconnected teams, the broken experience of the customer exists. And when the customer is frustrated, we are losing the loyalty. So 3 key takeaways. Thinking about customer journey and customer journey mapping, you should think about the story. So it's all the steps, all the interactions that happened from the beginning to the end. And then the synergy, because this collaboration matters. And when we align together, then we can have the better solution. Okay, my time is... Okay. And then the strategy. So we can plan our activities. We can find for the gaps and look for the opportunities to make the better experience for the customer. And that's all that I prepared for you today. So thank you for listening. If there are any questions, I will be happy to answer. And I have 3 questions for you, and I will be just back with the gifts that I brought. So.
Okay, so do we have any questions in the room? Or is everything clear? I guess everything's clear. So do we have any questions from our speaker to our audience?
So do you remember how many marketing clouds are now in Salesforce ecosystem? 3. Yes, you will be the one person. Okay, the second question, how many paths we can create in path experiment? Yeah, 10. Yeah, up to 10. Thank you. And the third one, so what's the difference between lead scoring and lead grading? Maybe somebody knows or remembers. Yep.
Graded is how you would like this customer and potential customer.
Yes, it can be like this. Okay, I remember you, and I will bring the gifts for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emilia, once again for joining us.
Thank you very much.